Welcome everyone, join us today as we dive into the life of Gilbert O'Sullivan, the unique 1970s songwriter behind Alone Again Naturally, Clair, and Get Down, whose timeless melodies carried him from humble beginnings to worldwide fame. So let's dive in. Gilbert O'Sullivan, born Raymond Edward O'Sullivan, on the 1st of December 1946, in Waterford, Ireland. Born to a working-class family, his mother ran a sweet shop and his father worked as a butcher. When Gilbert was around 7 years old, the family left Ireland in search of better prospects, moving first to Battersea, London, and then soon after settling in Swindon, Wiltshire, where he would spend most of his youth. It was in Swindon that music began to take hold. The family owned a piano, not a luxury, but a practical hope, as Gilbert would later describe. His parents believed that if at least one of their children learned to play well, it might offer a useful skill or even a potential source of income. He was sent to piano lessons for a short period, though formal training didn't suit him. Gilbert wasn't drawn to theory and would instead play the pieces by ear, shaping melodies instinctively rather than reading them from the page. 2 years after settling in Swindon, Gilbert's father passed away. The loss left the household relying even more heavily on its tight-knit structure, with 6 children and a strong sense of shared responsibility. He attended St. Joseph's Catholic College during his school years and later went on to study graphic design at Swindon College of Art, nurturing his visual imagination as well as his musical one. While studying graphic design, Gilbert also played music around Swindon. He joined local bands, notably Rick's Blues, where he performed as a drummer alongside Rick Davies, who would later co-found Supertramp. Davies taught him piano techniques and encouraged his musical development. Gilbert slowly gravitated away from drums towards songwriting. He spent time at the piano experimenting with chords, writing simple melodies, and exploring lyrical ideas. He was drawn to artists like the Beatles and Bob Dylan, musicians who blended stories with emotional truth. By the late 1960s, Gilbert felt pulled toward music more strongly than toward graphic design. His creative instinct had shifted, and he didn't want to interpret others' songs, he wanted to write his own. And for that, he knew he needed to move where the industry lived. So in 1967, he packed his ambition and moved to London. Arriving in London, Gilbert faced the same reality that meets most young musicians: rejection, financial strain, and the steep climb toward recognition. He worked odd jobs as a salesman and postal clerk, while recording demos on inexpensive equipment and dropping them off at publishers and labels. Many ignored him, while others seemed unsure of what to do with a songwriter whose work didn't neatly fit the mainstream pop trends of the late 60s. So Gilbert made a strategic, creative decision. He designed a visual identity, something striking, memorable and entirely different from the handsome, polished pop figures of the time. Drawing from silent film icons like Buster Keaton, he adopted the famous pudding bowl haircut, cloth cap, pullover, short trousers and schoolboy socks. It was eccentric but deliberate, a graphic designer's creation meant to make people stop and look long enough to hear the songs. This unusual image worked and it got him noticed. He was first signed to April Music, the publishing arm of CBS Records, and not long after caught the attention of Gordon Mills, one of the most powerful managers in British music, known for guiding the careers of Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck. Mills signed Gilbert to MAM Records, giving him the professional footing he had been fighting for. Everything was finally beginning to align. Gilbert's breakthrough arrived in 1970 with his single, Nothing Rhymed. It was lyrically sharp, melodically rich and emotionally resonant, unlike anything on the radio at the time. The song reached the UK Top 10, introducing Gilbert as a significant new voice in British pop. His debut album, Himself, released in August 1971, confirmed it. Built around piano-driven arrangements and produced with the support of arranger Johnny Spence, Himself showcased the traits that would define Gilbert's early career: clever phrasing, heartfelt storytelling, humor woven into sincerity, and melodies that seemed to arrive effortlessly. Critics admired him and audiences connected with him. He was poised for something bigger than even he imagined. In 1972, Gilbert released Alone Again Naturally, a song that would make him a household name around the world. With its calm, conversational vocal and reflections on heartbreak and loss, it struck a universal emotional chord. The song spent 6 weeks at number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100, reached number 3 in the UK, number 2 in Australia and New Zealand, and topped charts in Canada, becoming one of the defining ballads of the 1970s. It remains one of the most enduring songs of the decade, covered by Nina Simone, Michael Bublé and many others. The success continued. His second album, Back to Front, released in October 1972, produced another smash hit, Clair. A tender, affectionate song written about the young daughter of his manager Gordon Mills, Clair, reached #1 in the UK and #2 in the United States, confirming Gilbert's broad international appeal. Then in 1973 he released Get Down, an energetic piano pop track with irresistible charm. It reached #1 in the UK and became another international success. With these hits, Gilbert became one of the most successful British singer-songwriters of the early 70s. Throughout this period, he appeared on major television programs, toured extensively in Europe and Japan, and released a string of successful albums including I'm a Writer Not a Fighter, in 1973, and A Stranger in My Own Backyard, in 1974. His image evolved from schoolboy innocence to the more relaxed, mature sweater and perm look of the mid-1970s, but the essence of his artistry remained honest, melodic and unmistakably his own. As the decade progressed, the music industry shifted. Punk was rising, disco was everywhere, and the polished pop of the early 70s was beginning to wane. Gilbert stayed focused on songwriting rather than trends, releasing Southpaw in 1977, his first self-produced album. It marked a desire for more creative control, though it arrived during a challenging period in music when quieter singer-songwriters struggled to compete with louder, flashier genres. Still, Gilbert continued writing and performing, committed to his craft even as the industry moved in new directions. The 1980s began with major personal joy for Gilbert. In January 1980, he married Åsa Brekke, a Norwegian woman who became his steadfast partner. Their daughters, Helen Marie in 1980, and Tara in 1982, completed their family. Gilbert has always kept his private life extremely guarded, refusing to allow fame to intrude on his home. His devotion to his family became one of the defining constants of his life. Professionally, however, he was about to enter the most difficult battle of his career. Feeling that he had been underpaid for his enormous early 70s success, Gilbert launched a major legal case against Gordon Mills and MAM Records. The lawsuit became one of the most significant artist management disputes in British music history. It was long, exhausting and financially complex, and it temporarily stalled his career. In May 1982, the High Court ruled in his favour and Gilbert was awarded approximately £7 million and, crucially, gained ownership and control of his own songs and master recordings, a monumental achievement in an era when most artists had little control over their own work. But the victory came after years of reduced activity, and the music landscape had shifted again, and Gilbert had to rebuild both momentum and visibility once more. Despite the legal challenges, Gilbert never stopped making music. In 1980, he released Off Centre, produced by the legendary Gus Dudgeon, featuring the hit, What's in a Kiss, which reached the UK Top 20. In 1982, he followed with Life and Rhymes, released just before the lawsuit's final judgment. After a period of relative quiet, he returned in 1987 with the album Frobisher Drive, followed by a reworked version titled In the Key of G in 1989. These albums marked a new, independent phase defined by creative freedom rather than chart pressure. The 1990s were surprisingly prolific. Gilbert released Sounds of the Loop in 1991, The Reflective by Larry in 1994, the concept album Every Song Has Its Play in 1995, and Singer Sewing Machine in 1997. Throughout this time, he maintained loyal audiences in Japan, Ireland, the UK and parts of Europe, performing concerts marked by warmth, humour and the timelessness of his catalogue. The 2000s brought renewed recognition. New generations discovered his music through films, playlists and nostalgia programming, and longtime fans returned with affection. Gilbert released Earlish in 2001, the piano-based Piano 4Play in 2003, A Scruff at Heart in 2007, and Gilbertville in 2011. In 2015, he offered a stylistic experiment with Latin LRG, embracing a playful, rhythmic sound. His major later career breakthrough came with the 2018 album Gilbert O'Sullivan, produced by Ethan Johns. The record brought him back to the UK charts, earning critical praise and demonstrating that his songwriting remained as sharp and heartfelt as ever. Today, Gilbert continues to live a grounded private life. He resides in Jersey, where he has lived for many years with his wife. He remains an active touring musician, performing across the UK, Ireland, Europe, Japan and Australia. He is still writing and recording new material, still engaging with fans, and still refining his craft. In September 2024, he released Songbook, a collection of stripped-back re-recordings of his classic songs, along with one new track. The album showcases his matured voice and his ability to reinterpret his own work, with warmth and intimacy. In May 2025, he toured Australia, performing in venues such as Twin Towns in New South Wales and Sydney. Shortly afterward, he completed a series of concerts in Yokohama and Osaka, reaffirming his enduring popularity in Japan. He also maintains an active world tour playlist on Spotify, bringing together his greatest hits for new and old fans alike. After nearly 6 decades in the music industry, Gilbert continues to do what he loves, and has done since the late 1960s: write, record, perform and connect to others through his music. And there you have it. Gilbert O'Sullivan, a true original whose songs still echo through the hearts of fans worldwide, and will continue to do so for generations to come. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. Take care and bye for now.